Hi, I'm Bruno Aziza, and today I am sitting with Kenneth Schmidt, who is the CIO of Carlsberg. Thank you very much for your time, Kenneth. You are a very well-known CIO. You've had a lot of experience. You were the CIO of Danfoss before, which is a large manufacturing organization in Denmark. You also have the opportunity to work in a very large organization today. Carlsberg is a very well-known name, 500 brands, 17 IT organizations, and I think that's only in Europe. Yeah. You are a well-known thought leader. You're also on the board of Leader Lab, so you have a lot of thoughts to share with us and CIOs in the audience. Let's start with the first question on information. How do you think about information and data at Carlsberg?
Since Carlsberg has been moving from a very local business into a truly international business, data and actually getting something out of the data is core for Carlsberg. Actually identifying the possible synergies and then getting something out of that. So basically data is a sort of gold within the company we have to mine from the IT department and then present it in a way that is meaningful for the business.
And so do you view data as a way that IT can lead with the business and help them make better decisions?
It's constantly a dialogue with the business. There's surely within Carlsberg there's a lot of ambitions about what should be done from customers to brands to internal efficiencies. And in that dialogue, it's up to IT to re-engineer those demands and then propose back to the business. What can we actually do? What do we already know? Is there any patterns in the data which can actually support maybe decision making in some of the strategy projects we're having?
And so I know you're very dispersed as well as an organization. You have empowerment locally. Is there specific scenarios where data allows you to have a competitive edge?
Definitely. Let's say one of the biggest challenges I have, and that is especially that we are so many different companies, and that means from an IT point of view there's a lot of different systems. So the way we actually drive it, we identify some areas where we think or we assume that there's something that could be particular within procurement, which is a huge area for Carlsberg, 60% of the cost base. So based on these assumptions, we make some data as a sort of first shot, and based on that we justify, is there actually a potential which should be chased, and then we build the initiative and then we build the corresponding necessary IT. But in the beginning it's a sort of, we start testing, is the assumption valid, and once we have proven it's valid, then we actually invest in IT.
So there's 2 or 3 ways you were talking about here. One is obviously operational efficiency, then it's having data to test a hypothesis, and then having data in order to justify a particular decision. What are some of the lessons that you've learned that you'd like to share with CIOs when it comes to working in a very large organization like that and having to drive consistency and efficiency on using information?
If I should pick on one thing, definitely, data stewardship. Because we can collect a lot of data, we can present them in a lot of different ways, but if it is garbage in, it's garbage out. So definitely make sure you are in control of your data. And that means as you move along and actually use data for consolidated report, make sure you treat it as an asset. How they are captured, from which systems they are coming, and then people is sort of taking ownership of the data. So maintenance of these data stays current at all times.
So it's not just the reporting or the dashboard, but it's actually the work on making sure it's the right data, it's normalized and so forth.
Yeah, especially that, yeah.
How do you handle unstructured data forms? Because I know you have a lot of opinion on social media as well as not just data that's in rows and columns. You know, what's your thinking on that?
Yeah, that is one of the very exciting things actually being in a fast-moving consumer goods, is how do you interact with groups of people or clubs, different societies around that, and we are just in the midst of exploiting that. We see a lot of things. Carlsberg is widely represented on YouTube, so we are thinking of how can that actually be used in a commercial context without sort of being sort of disturbing that social media, because it has to be honest, it has to be open. You cannot go in and sort of interfere with the dialogues going on, but you should be present, and sometimes you can actually fuse some of the discussions going on.
That's great, and before this interview you showed me an interesting use of data on SMS. Do you want to kind of tell us how you think about that as well?
Yeah, again, a very simple tool present for a lot of people, so it's quite pervasive. So what we do, for example, in IT is that the different parties who have different interest in systems or areas, they actually get SMSs if there are anything concerning their systems. So they get it directly in a very simple way on the mobiles.
So I think that's a great lesson for CIOs as well, is that it's structured and unstructured in different forms. It could be on the phone, it could be on the PC, and on the web. Well, Kenneth, thank you very much for your time. Until next time, I'm Bruno Ziza.